Hello, world. Welcome to another bonus episode of Pablo Speaks. I'm your host, Pablo, also known as James Paul Sr. In today's episode, I take a deep dive into the lyrics and production of Moon Run, my latest dub poetry single, now streaming on Spotify and other music platforms. My artist's name is PablOGt, that's PablOGt, or PablOGt from GT, as in Guyana. Now, dub poetry is the creative fusion of spoken word or poetry with music. For me, the dub poetry creation process begins with an inspiration or a general theme, which usually triggers an opening line or verse, maybe a few verses. The music comes next, followed by curation of the poetry and hooks to ride the beats like a brand new tire on a bicycle wheel. Now, poetry alone, especially from conscious poets, tend to be a little heavy on the ears. So taking my cue from the late great Jamaican reggae artist Peter Tosh, I try to dress up my poetry with nice music, creating a fusion and vibration that is lighter on the ears and brighter on the spirit. Ashe. For Moon Run, the general inspiration was a strong desire to showcase Guyanese Creole in my poetry and music. As a Guyanese creative, I am very proud of my unique Creole identity as a descendant of enslaved Africans. I grew up among 5 other ethnic groups, namely Indigenous, East Indian, Asian, European, and mixed-race Guyanese. One of the primary unifying elements of Guyanese culture is our shared Creole language, also known as Creolese. It's an organic blend of dialects, words, and phrases borrowed from the aforementioned ethnicities and fused over centuries into a language of its own. A few examples of unique Creolese words are pagali, which means clumsy, awkward, or slow-witted, and bradaps, which refers to the sound made when someone or something falls or is thrown to the ground. I see Creolese as an inheritance from my Guyanese ancestors. Thus, I feel compelled to proudly use it in my poetry, stories, and music. My next step was to scan through a pocketbook of Guyanese proverbs by Sheikh Hassan. I selected Moon Run till they catch on, which literally translates into English as the moon or night will run until the day or sun catches it, and can be generally interpreted as things done in the dark will always come to light. My plan was to build a poem and song around this proverb. Next, I bought a dope hip-hop track by DC Bangers with a battle rap hook that flowed like this. Represent, pass the mic, I got the dope for y'all, I'm spitting flames. Now, that's a challenge, right? So I listened a few times, then curated a hook in Creolese to battle DC Bangers. I came up with moon a run, but soon the sun I go catch out. And the intro to the song was Guyanese Creole meets hip hop, take 1. And just like that, the Guyanese Creole versus hip hop battle was on. Now, over the course of a few hours, I listened to the track continuously, and slowly but surely, the words came for the verses and secondary hooks, with syllable counts and end rhymes to match and complement the beats. Verse 1 goes, live your life in the light, fear not the sun, strive to be righteous, all your battles will be won, which is reinforced by the secondary hooks, which go as follows. Live your life in the light, my brothers. No need to fuss and fight. Live your life in the light, my sisters. Everything gonna be all right. Now, these secondary hooks encourage and motivate listeners to strive to do the right thing, to be honorable, respectful, and caring, to live their lives in the light. That's the seed I'm planting with this song. Now, I firmly believe artists should use their God-given talents of writing, rapping, singing, painting, you name it, to make a positive impact in the world. As a dub poet, I aspire to uplift and edutain my listeners with conscious messages dressed up nicely with music. Somewhere in the cosmos, Peter Tosh is smiling. Now, after completing the lyrics for Moon Run, I recorded a rough demo over the beats in my home studio using GarageBand. Over the next few days, I listened, tightened up the lyrics, and recorded a few more demos until I got one I was happy with. Next, I mixed and dropped Moon Run on SoundCloud to see how the fans would respond to it. My fans loved it. I got a few hundred views plus several likes and comments, and that was my green light. It was time to visit the music production pros. Here's a related sidebar. I live in McDonough, Georgia, a suburb on the south side of Atlanta, and I attend a weekly open mic called High Vibrational Thursdays, hosted by Malachi Cannon, also known as 9 Miles the Shaman. He's a rapper, and he hosts this open mic at the Black Dot Cafe in Lithonia, Georgia. It's about a 35-minute ride from my crib. This is the place where I and other creatives practice our poetry, our new songs, our stories, our comedy, etc. It's a really cool and supportive vibe and crowd. Plus the coffee, lattes, and croissants are dope. Now, Malachi turned me on to his music studio on the second floor, right above Black Dot Cafe. It's called Rich Tunes. It's a collaboration with owner Rich and a few audio engineers like Steve, who coached me into delivering my best vocals and ad-libs for the Moon Run single. Steve then mixed the joint to our mutual satisfaction. A few days later, I got the mastered version, and I was thrilled. In fact, to be honest, it sounded like someone else was rapping on the song, not me. See, I'm an OG from the 60s, and I'm kind of new to the beats, performance, poetry, and music production game. I'm still trying to find my lane and voice. Nah, I'm not trying to be Jay-Z or Kendrick or J. Cole. I want to be different, but just as dope. I want to be Pablo the OG from GT. You feel me? All right, so before submitting the mastered Moon Run file to United Masters for review and distribution, I took the time to register the song with ASCAP, a US-based performing rights organization, PRO, to ensure I get paid when Moon Run blows up. I strongly believe Moon Run showcases my progress as an artist and the amazing music production skills of my collaborators at Rich Tunes Production. I invite you to take a listen, stream, download, share Moon Run, then drop your comments and feedback on Facebook at Pablo Speaks, or email me at jpaul591, that's jpaul591 at hotmail.com. Moon Run is the song title. That's MOONAHRUN. PablOGt is my performance name. And that's the scoop on the making of Moon Run. Thanks for your time and support. Please remember to answer the poll and Q&A at the end of this and every podcast. And join me every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for my regularly scheduled podcast, Pablo Speaks. Thank you so much for your time and support. Have a great weekend. Ayo. I got words.
I got words in my head, every word I've read. I got words in the oven, baking like bread. I got words. I got words.